Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome and thank you for attending the California Building Standards Commission meeting today. I'm Nick Maduras. I'm the Secretary of Government Operations Agency, as well as the Chair of the California Building Standards Commission. And it's my pleasure to call this meeting to order. It is 10 o'clock a.m. exactly on January 14th, 2026. Ms. Maida, please call the roll.
Secretary Nick Maduras,
Here.
Commissioner Patel,
Here.
Commissioner Sasaki,
Here.
Commissioner Santillan.
Good morning, I'm here.
Morning. Commissioner Ramirez,
Present.
Commissioner Klaus Buckner. Here. Commissioner Rambin. Here. Commissioner Haskin.
Here.
Commissioner Alegre. Commissioner Stockwell. We have quorum.
Thank you so much. We do have a quorum. At this time, I would like to remind the commissioners participating remotely to disclose whether any other individuals 18 years of age or older are present in the room at your remote locations, and the general nature of the members' relationship with any such individuals pursuant to Senate Bill 470. Any?
Good morning, this is Commissioner Santillan. I am in my office locked doors, no one else.
All right, thank you so much. Everyone can rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Have a flag? Don't have a flag, apparently. Well, it's coming online. No flag. Well, we'll imagine. I pledge allegiance to the republic
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. All right. Mr. Day, can you please read the meeting instructions for the day?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Day, Deputy Executive Director of the California Building Standards Commission. We have been advised we're having a slight technical issue with the video for the broadcast. So the tech staff are working on that. I believe we have audio. So with your permission, I'll continue, but they're troubleshooting the video issue as we speak.
As long as people can hear the audio, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I believe that's the case. So I'll continue. Okay, thanks, Pam. All right. So as the chair stated, pursuant to SB 470, effective January 1st, 2026, this meeting has a physical location where the majority of the commissioners are present. The public is able to present in person and also has the ability to participate via Zoom. As a reminder, commissioners participating remotely must always remain on camera. If at any time a commissioner needs to turn their camera off for bandwidth or other issues, please notify the chair. Today's meeting can be viewed on the CBSC YouTube channel linked on the meeting agenda. I would like to remind the YouTube viewers there is an approximate 45-second delay. Before reading the meeting instructions, I'd like to share some housekeeping items. In the event of an emergency, please look for the doors with the exit signs and exit through the glass doors at the front of the building. Restrooms are located outside the door, turn left, and then turn left again. No code is required. CBSC meetings operate under the requirements of the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act set forth in Government Code Section 11120 through 11133. This commission meeting has been scheduled for one day. In the event the commission meeting completes the agenda items prior to 5:00 p.m., the commission will adjourn the meeting early. We will likely break for lunch around 12:30 p.m. as needed. The public may provide comments by calling in on the Zoom teleconference number provided on the meeting agenda or by using the raised hand feature in Zoom. For members of the public attending in person, please complete a request to address the commission form if you wish to comment on a specific agenda item. The form is buff in color and is available at the table located near the meeting room entrance. Please turn in the completed form to a CBSC staff member. Instructions are provided on CBSC's webpage. If you have difficulty with the technology, please call CBSC's office at 916-263-0916. I will now read the public comment and Zoom instructions. If you wish to make a comment on a specific agenda item, please listen for the commission chair to ask for any comments from the public. The chair will first go to members of the public in the auditorium that have submitted speaker cards. The chair will then call on members of the public participating on Zoom that have their hands raised. For those calling in on the phone using *9 to raise or lower your hand and *6 to unmute and mute. In Zoom, we will recognize hands raised and turn on the ability to speak. If you like, you may announce your name and who you are representing before making your comment. Please mute yourself when done commenting and keep in mind the 4-minute time limit for each individual speaker. The chair will continue through the call queue until there are no comments remaining. The commission will then proceed to the next agenda item. If possible, please call from a telephone, not using the speakerphone, and log into virtual meetings with one device only. This enhances the commission's ability to hear your comments clearly. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now we'll turn to agenda item 2, which is comments from the public on issues not on this agenda. Comments regarding items not on this agenda may be briefly discussed, but no action may be taken by the commission. At this time, I'd like to remind the public who wish to speak on item 2 to put yourself in the queue now by using the raised hand feature in Zoom, or listen for us to ask for comments from the phone and unmute yourself at that time. If you would like, you may announce your name and who you're representing before making your comments. Any members in the conference center here that have submitted speaker cards or wish to speak? Seeing none, should we check? Is there anyone on Zoom or
There are currently no hands raised.
anyone on the phone?
There are no phone hands raised. Oh, wait, a hand just went up. One moment, please. Jason, you may go ahead and speak.
Thank you. My name is Jason Dupuy. I'm speaking on behalf of myself. I heard that there may be an issue regarding the adoption of the 2025 NFPA 72 in regards to section 26.2.11 regarding auxiliary service providers, ASP, that there's a portion of the requirements in NFPA 72 that may not be enforceable. There were some submittals made to CAL FIRE regarding to this, and I was told that this might be brought up at this meeting. I would come forward to speak that this section of NFPA 72 is going to go through a tentative interim amendment by the technical committee on chapter 26 that's going to address this issue. That if the building commission decided to make any decision on this, that they restrict that to only changing section 26.2.11.3. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I don't believe that's on our agenda for today.
Not on the agenda, it was comments.
Yeah. But he mentioned that it might be. Well, thank you for your comments. All right. Any further comments from the public?
There are no other hands raised.
All right. Well, that concludes agenda item 2. We thank you for your comments. Next is agenda item 3, the review and approval of meeting minutes. Commissioners, any comments or concerns regarding the October 15, 2025 meeting minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
This is Commissioner Rambin, move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Commissioner Allegre, second.
Thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please, Ms. Maeda.
Commissioner Heskin,
Aye.
Commissioner Legray,
Aye.
Commissioner Klaas Buckner. Aye. Commissioner Patel,
I apologize, I'm not able to attend the meeting, so I abstain.
Commissioner Sasaki,
Aye.
Commissioner Santillan,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez.
Aye.
Commissioner Rambin.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. The meeting minutes from the prior meeting of October 15th are adopted unanimously with one abstention. I will now turn to agenda item 4A. The Building Standards Commission has 3 commissioners with terms that expired on January 1st of this year. We have one of those members, Commissioner Sasaki, is seeking reappointment for another 4-year term. Commissioners can continue to serve for up to 180 days following the expiration of their term or until replacement has been appointed by the governor's office. So we're still awaiting that news. So Commissioner Sasaki will continue to serve. At the October meeting, for those of you that were here, we recognized the long service of Commissioner Mikaten, who decided to retire, so he is not here at today's meeting. And unfortunately, after almost 10 years with the commission, Commissioner Allegre has informed the staff that she too is retiring, and that this will be her last meeting. So just a huge thank you to Commissioner Alegre for your very long service on the State Building Standards Commission. And we'd like to just thank you for all of your service. So. I don't know if Mr. Ryan, do you want to?
Yeah, I want to say a few words about Commissioner Allegri. She was appointed by the Gardner Brown in 2016, August 2016, as a local fire official. At the time, she was a supervising deputy fire marshal with the City of San Diego Fire Rescue Department. And after 31 years with the City of San Diego, if my information is correct, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Commissioner Allegri retired in November 2025. And prior to joining the Fire Rescue Department, she served as a wastewater pretreatment inspector with the Metropolitan Wastewater Department and as a hazardous material inspector with the Environmental Service Department. So again, if I'm lying, it's unintentional, okay? So feel free to correct me. Most of you know that she lives in Chula Vista with her husband and daughter, and we have a simple certificate of appreciation for you. And I know it's not enough to thank you for your service, driver. And as a tradition, I want to ask you if you want to say a few words for future plans and whatever you want to say.
Well, I just wanted to thank everybody for welcoming me into the commission. It's been almost 10 years since I started, so I learned quite a bit from each of the commissioners present, as well as commissioners that have retired before me. And you know, it's just been a pleasure and an honor to work with, you know, the commissioners as well as the commission staff, in addition to all of the proposing agencies. I've been in the code industry for 31 years with the City of San Diego, learned quite a bit here and there in different code sections, but to learn the background of how codes get proposed and adopted was just a very new process for me, one that I, you know, truly appreciate and will take with me even after I leave here today. But as Stoyan had mentioned, I did retire from the City of San Diego just a few months ago, and I highly recommend it to everybody. But again, I just wanted to thank everybody for nurturing me and really just supporting me, and I'll really miss everybody here. So thank you also for the certificate of appreciation, but you know, the honor has been all mine. So thank you.
Thank you so much. You look much too young to retire. I just checked with PERS. I've got 47 years left until I can retire. So I've taken a wrong turn somewhere, but
They leave sooner.
This is Commissioner Sasaki. Jubilant, and we've come to know and appreciate your contributions over the last 10 years. It seems like time flies. It's amazing that it's been 10 years. I was here when you first joined the commission. Anyway, we really appreciate your contributions and your support and all the things that you've done. We wish you all the fun and joy of retirement. So anyway, with that, we really appreciate what you've done. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you so much. All right, now we'll turn to agenda item 4B. With these changes in the composition of the Building Standards Commission, there are currently, we're down 2 spots on the various subcommittees or committees. So the current members of the Appeals Committee are Mr. Sasaki, who is the chair, Ms. Allegre, Ms. Klaus-Bruckner, Ms. Rambin, and Mr. Haskin. So with the with Ms. Allegre stepping off, there are 4 members of that committee. And I'll just go through the other committee as well, because I want to have maybe a discussion about what you'd all like to do with the committees, whether we backfill, leave them and wait for the new appointments, whether people would like to switch or join or step off of any of the committees. On the Code Adoption Committee, the chair is Mr. Patel. The other members on the committee are members Sasaki, Santillan, Mr. Mikachen was on, he's obviously off, and then Mr. Ramirez. So each of them has 4. We don't have any set number that we need to have on each of the committees. So, you know, it's sort of open for discussion here, whether we'd like to leave them at 4, whether people want to join a committee on which they don't currently serve, or step off of a committee on which they do currently serve. With that, any comments from any members of how you think we ought to proceed?
If I can clarify.
Sure.
The maximum is 5 members because of we can't go more than 5. So currently we have 4, 2 options. Typically these are volunteer positions. You know, some of the commissioners volunteer and we fill them. And the other option is we keep the seats open. So we'll have 2 new commissioners. They may want to join, and if they don't, we will refill the positions at the meeting in April. So 2 options. And of course, if we have commissioners, as Nick said, commissioners that don't have the time, don't want to serve, or we can discuss this and make changes to the committee.
Ms. Klaus-Bruckner.
This is Commissioner Klaus Bruckner. I used to be on the Code Adoption Committee and I stepped down to let fresh blood in on that committee. If you guys need my help, I can jump back in until we get more people back in on the commission. That's completely up to you guys. The Appeals Committee that isn't as work intensive. The Code Adoption Committee is pretty work intensive. And if you guys need my help on it, I'd be happy to jump in until more people are interested in it. But I'm happy to step back as well. It's up to you.
Thank you for that willingness. Any other members have any thoughts?
This is Commissioner Haskin. I'm currently on the Appeals Committee, but I would like to move over to the Code Adoption Committee if that's an option, and doesn't have to be now if we have more members coming in the next few months, but just it's something I'd like to do in the next couple of meetings.
Thank you.
I just have a question on the status. I know when I spoke last to Commissioner Mikachen that he had found somebody to take his role on the commission, but there hadn't been a lot of movement on her application. If we have any idea what the status is of her application.
I don't believe we have an update yet from the governor's office on appointments.
We don't. I checked yesterday. It's not filled. We don't have any updates yet.
But the next meeting is in April?
April 20,
3rd. So I'm hoping we'll have some movement before that.
Good morning, this is Commissioner Santillan. I currently serve on the Code Adoption Committee. I've been on it a couple of times actually, and I am comfortable and would like to stay on the Code Adoption Committee.
Okay. Thank you. Well, if it is okay with given that there's nothing urgent, maybe we can put this off until our next meeting. And I know we've got a couple of members who've expressed one who's expressed a willingness and one who's expressed a desire to serve on the Code Adoption Committee. So let us take that back and then we'll sort all this out in April, and hopefully we'll have some new members by then as well, and we can straighten everything out. Does that sound? Is everyone okay? Great. At this point, are there any comments from any members of the public regarding the committee issues?
There are no hands raised.
All right. So I don't think we need a vote or anything on that. All right. At this point, we turn to, do we have an item 4D? All right. So commission item, agenda item 4D is the discussion of new information and procedures related to AB 130. You all should have materials in your binders with background on this, but Stoyan, do you want to walk us through it?
Yeah, so I guess I need to full disclosure at the beginning. We could have done a better job with the identifying the agenda item, but the reason for this agenda item is to discuss the procedure that the commission is going through during a code adoption cycle, and currently we're in the intervening cycle. And I guess some of our stakeholders and members of the public took it differently, but the agenda item is discussing the procedure, and later I'll try to explain, the difference. The procedure may change a little bit based on changes to the law with AB 130, but it's not a major change, and we are not planning to discuss whether or not AB 130 is a good or bad bill, or discuss any interpretations to the bill. It's just strictly the procedure of the Building Standard Commission. And we left some materials in the e-binder related to AB 130. We have AB 130 is a budget trailer bill, so it's a huge bill, and we copied the sections that are affecting our business, the Building Standard Commission, the code adoption. We left the documents for you to read and self-educate. You don't need to remember everything. We will be willing to help you out later if you need additional information for AB 130. But during this meeting, I want to concentrate in the intervening code adoption cycle, because now we are within the intervening code adoption cycle. So I met with all of you individually to discuss the meeting, and I think I tried to explain a little bit in detail what AB 130 is, but for the members of the public, as I said, it's a budget trailer bill, AB 130. It's Chapter 22, Statutes of 2025, and we have Section 29, 30, 31, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. These are the sections again affecting the bill. Effective date is June 30, 2025, and what the important part of the bill is, it's a moratorium on state and local building standards affecting residential units, beginning October 1st, 2025, and the sunset date is June 1st, 2032. What is the important part for us now is that the bill enacted a restriction on the types of proposals that the state agency may propose during intervening code adoption cycle. And this requirement doesn't have a sunset date. And it's not only for residential, it's for residential, non-residential, everything that's in the code. And the brief summary of this is there shouldn't be any changes on regulatory effect during the intervening court adoption cycle. There are a few exceptions that we may, if you have questions, then we can go to the exceptions. What is the current process? We start the code adoption cycle with agency submittals. The Building Standard Commission staff is working with the agencies, going back and forth regarding issues with formatting, different issues. After we're done with the initial work, we have the code advisory committee meetings, and then, again, this is really brief discussion. It's much more difficult than that. 45-day public comment period, 15-day public comment period, and then the commission gets the final submittals and at the last meeting can discuss and approve, disapprove, further study with all these different options. What AB 130 did, it added some additional workload and it added one additional step. So it's not only the 9-point criteria that the commissioners are required to follow and evaluate the proposals. AB 130 will require the commissioners and the Building Standard Commission staff to take into account whether or not the proposals meet the requirements in the AB 130 and the exceptions in the AB 130. Again, we are in the intervening code adoption cycle, so it affects the state proposing and adopting agencies submittals. What we want to do, we want to give the commissioners another opportunity to review and comment on the agency proposals. We will be done with the code advisory committee meetings, and by the end of March, the 45-day express terms and documents will be available, posted on the website and available for the commissioners. So what we want to offer to the commissioners is to have a meeting on April 23rd, and have a discussion about the state agency proposals. It's an additional discussion, no vote will be needed. Just another chance for you to raise your concerns, ask questions if you have questions for the agencies, make comments, and the agencies, they have the liberty to listen to you or not, take into consideration what your concerns are. So in this case, you will give your opinion in advance and not only at the last commission meeting. And as staff, we're okay either way. We just wanted to touch base with you, and whatever your decision is, this is how we will run the code adoption cycle. If you want to stick with the same process, we will do the same. We'll prepare the final report for you for the last commission meeting. We will have one in July and maybe one in August for the final adoption. If you want to make changes to the process and meet in April to discuss the 45-day submittals, then we can reorganize our schedule and make it available, make the proposals available for you. That's the reason for this agenda item, and it's up to you again how you decide.
Thank you, Stoyan. Does any of the members of the commission have any thoughts on that process to allow us to have an earlier comment on the proposed changes?
And this is Commissioner Haskin. I, for one, am strongly in support of that proposal. It's been my biggest concern through this entire process since I've been on the commission that all we have the ability to do is to derail things and create fire drills, and then everyone's forced to scramble at the last minute if there's things that come up, if there's something that wasn't caught in text, that we bring up any details and any specific concerns, then the agencies have to respond within a couple of hours, which is unreasonable and unfair to them. So personally, I am strongly in support of us meeting after the 45-day comment periods and before the 15-day, additional comment periods, that will not only will that streamline that process, the approval process, but give the agencies the time that they need to review and give us the time that we need to have our concerns addressed. So I'm in strong support.
Thank you for that comment. Any other members have a view? Yes.
This is Commissioner Klaus Brickner. As most of you know, I don't have much of an opinion about anything. And so this isn't sarcasm, but that has been the point of frustration with me on this committee. And so this will help alleviate some of that frustration where we can't provide feedback in a timely manner. It's vote for it or you'll have to wait for next cycle. There is no options to make any changes, even editorial changes. So I'm in strong support of this as well.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seems like there's strong support. Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Patel. I agree with both commissioners. I think this is a great thing because it really allows us to interact with the state agencies and be able to give our feedback early in the process and really help it come out with better regulations at the end of the process. So I'm strongly in favor for it. Thank you, staff, for making this change, Dwayne. I think it's going to help all of us. I did have one question though: will this April meeting be before or after the Code Advisory Committee's meet?
It will be after the Code Advisory Committee. So the last Code Advisory Committee is access mid-March. Okay, 4th and 5th.
Perfect. So we'll be able to watch that, get that feedback, and then come back and be able to make informed comments.
After we submit, so this meeting will be during the Code Advisory, the 45-day comment period.
Perfect. Thank you.
Commissioner Sasaki, I support the proposal too, and thank the staff for proposing this because I think it will alleviate a bunch of problems that we've had in the past. I have some questions on the intervening cycle in AB 130, but I'll hold those questions until we maybe discuss that more.
Right. Seeing no other members of the community. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, this is Commissioner Santillan. I had the same as Commissioner Sasaki. I, along with the other commissioners, support the process of the further review, and I'm interested in the application, whether it's just housing or are there others, but we can wait until we have that conversation. Thank you.
So this is Commissioner Haskin again. I want to make it clear, though, that I think that I'm strongly in support of us having this a meeting to discuss it. To summarize what you were proposing is that we have a meeting as a commission to discuss without making decisions on the proposed changes. It'd be even better if it was shortly after, directly, at the end of the 45-day comment period, so we have as many comments as possible. I propose that we do that for not just the intervening cycle, but that we do that for every cycle in order to give everyone and all the agencies and the commissioners a chance to smooth that process out. So that's my suggestion. And I don't know if we need to make a move to make this an action item and have a vote on this. You tell us what's the next.
I think we'll have a vote on this specific proposal for now, and I think we can just change our internal procedures to align the meeting schedules with any code adoption cycles.
Commissioner Ramirez, I do support the new procedure. Related to that, how many PYs are we getting from the additional work for the additional work?
We got one.
One? How is that going to affect timeliness and?
It won't change the time frame. The overtime will be on us, not for the commissioners.
So we're
Right,
good.
Conchit, so for us, the additional workload is a little bit on the intervening cycle, evaluating, because again, we're adding one more step. But 90% of the workload is additional workload is related to the local amendments. We're receiving like 10, 15 per day. And we are a little behind, but we'll catch up. Because before that, for the local amendments, it didn't really review the content. We were reviewing, specific items that we are authorized to do per law, per statute. And now we are reviewing the content. We are reviewing if the local proposed local amendments or local ordinance meets the criteria in AB 130. So that's is slowing us down. And keep in mind some ordinances are like 3-5 pages, but there are others that are 300. So it takes time, but won't affect the schedule for the code adoption cycle. Won't affect the commission members.
Thank you.
But the main question, yes, we got one position. We're happy with that because we could have get 0. So it's.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, seeing no further comments from the commission, are there any comments from members of the public in the room?
We do have some hands raised. First hand raised is Michael.
Hello, my name is Michael Rockmess. I'm with the U.S. Green Building Council, California. I appreciate staff's desire to keep the discussion narrow, but if you will indulge me, I'd like to make 2 very brief comments related to the interpretations and procedures related to AB 130. Regarding the local building code moratorium impacting residential buildings in AB 130, it includes an exception for local code changes that relate to home hardening. Given the wide variety of climate impacts facing homes in California, I respectfully ask the Commission to interpret home hardening here broadly to allow local code updates that protect homes from flooding, extreme heat, and other climate impacts beyond fire. I also want to note the large challenge we have in front of us decarbonizing existing buildings, including our homes and apartments. I want to urge the Commission to continue enabling policies that encourage cost-effective decarbonization of existing buildings. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. The next caller is Enrique. Go ahead.
Morning, Chair Maduros and Commissioners. Enrique Huerta with Climate Resolve. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on item 4D, specifically the building code moratorium in AB 130. I'd like to make 3 points. First, the current moratorium timeline assumes a static environment, yet climate-driven hazards are rapidly intensifying, and California needs a code adoption process that remains responsive to these evolving real-world conditions. Second, while I appreciate the stability the moratorium provides, I believe the Commission has a valuable opportunity to further strengthen these new procedures by providing more specific guidance on the emergency and health and safety exemptions. Third, I kindly ask the Commission to explicitly define home hardening with these new procedures to prioritize climate resilience in keeping with Senate Resolution 61. Standardizing these definitions will provide much needed administrative clarity for local jurisdictions. Thank you for your service and for your hard work on this complex transition.
Thank you. The next person with their hand raised is Laura Walsh.
Hi, I'm Laura Walsh. I'm a policy manager with the nonprofit organization Save the Bay. Also here to comment on AB 130. I understand the scope being discussed in this meeting is pretty narrow, so I'll keep things pretty light here. But I do just want to say The bill is potentially very disruptive to those of us working in sea level rise planning. That's a lot of what we care about at Save the Bay because the Bay Area is a third of the state's coastline. We're seeing a lot of recurring flooding. And, one of the major ways to keep our very developed shoreline safe and people living, especially in vulnerable communities near the coastline, safe, is by having building code standards that meet realistic flooding that we're seeing. So we've been asking, and our regional regulator for sea level rise work has been asking, and many cities have been doing code updates to meet modern flood resilience challenges. And AB 130 stands to potentially discourage or even block them from doing that. So it is something we want to be involved in. And maybe I'll just say that because this bill was part of the whole trailer bill process, there were potentially a lot of advocates that were sort of reassured that this commission would be the place to have these discussions at. So thanks for clarifying the scope and hope to keep working with you.
Thank you, Laura. The next caller is Bob Raymer.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Bob Raymer representing CBIA, BOMA, CBPA, and the California Apartment Association. And the provisions of AB 130 that we're discussing today came from Assembly Bill 306. That bill was taken in its entirety and plugged into AB 130. I can tell you that in the legislative hearings related to AB 306, that the legislators in the various policy committees viewed fire hardening as synonymous with the wildland-urban interface fire safety regulations. Quite frankly, I obviously can't speak for the legislatures, but it seemed pretty clear that they wanted to make sure that changes for residential construction were kept to a minimum, but they wanted to keep the door open wide for wildland urban interface fire safety, given that the LA fires had just occurred. So with that, that's my comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. The next caller is Colleen Corrigan.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Colleen Corrigan with Spur. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on item 4D. I echo the speakers before me and will keep my remarks brief. While I appreciate the stability that the moratorium is intended to provide and the challenges that this commission faces in updating its processes, I also believe the commission has a valuable opportunity to strengthen these procedures by providing more specific guidance on the emergency health and safety exemption so that local jurisdictions are not left navigating this broad language. There are countless examples that we're running into of local governments already running into barriers.
Ms. Corrigan, can you please slow down a little bit? We're having trouble hearing you in the room. Thank you.
Sounds good. There are countless examples of local governments already running into barriers as a result of unclear and negative language. I also asked the Commission to explicitly define home hardening procedures to prioritize climate resilience and hazard adaptation beyond just wildfire, which is top of mind when this should include extreme heat resilience, flood resilience, and seismic safety, which all require home hardening. Thank you for your hard work on this conference.
Thank you. And the final hand raised at this time is John McHugh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thanks. I also, like Bob Raymer, followed AB 306 and then its inclusion in the budget in AB 130. And my understanding was that this legislation was intended to simplify and streamline permitting of residential housing. And specifically, it talked to residential units. Residential units, not exactly sure, but there's a term residential dwelling unit. My concern is that there's an inadvertent impact of this standard that's potentially impacting occupancies that are not dwelling units. And in particular, the thing that actually results in the building efficiency standard being more convoluted is including the non-residential occupancies that are in hotel motel. My understanding was that this legislation was about streamlining how single family, multifamily, and ADUs, and was not attempting to limit changes that might occur to hotel motel, and in particular the non-residential aspects, which are lobbies, stores, meeting rooms, and those sorts of things. And the overall impact is potentially creating essentially numerous exceptions in the standards that then create not just the opposite of what I think the intent of this legislation was. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Mr. Raymer, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, in response to John's comment, there was an effort by CBIA, by NRDC, and by labor to limit the provisions of 306 and then 130 to just simply single family dwellings and apartments. And that was turned down very quickly and with some anger on the part of the speaker. And so unfortunately, it applies to all residential, no matter what. We tried to change that and we were unsuccessful. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. There are no other hands raised at this time.
Thank you for those comments. Are there any members of the commission who have additional comments?
Commissioner Ramirez, I'm just curious. Obviously, I understand the intent and the focus of this meeting and the process, which is great. But for the purposes of the public, what are their avenues to take up these issues that they're bringing forward today?
We appreciate the comments. We have the information. Currently, we have an information bulletin for the local jurisdictions and just a guidance for the proposing state agencies. Our plan was to go further and issue frequently asked questions for the local jurisdictions. So we are receiving questions and comments as we speak. So that document most likely will be updated, and the memo for the commissioners will be updated. But regarding the home hardening, I think we had several discussions with the State Fire Marshal. Also, the State Fire Marshal has a proposal for what home hardening is, and we can't go above and beyond that.
But we will, in the course of considering individual potential changes in the like in the April meeting, we will, I mean, those will depend on the applicability of these exceptions. Yes.
Correct. Yeah, correct. In our information for the local jurisdictions, cities and counties, and the state agencies, we try to stay very close to the language in the bill. We took a conservative approach, understanding the intent of the bill. So we didn't want to go into interpretations that we're not the state legislature where we didn't want to go above our heads. So our guidance is very limited on interpretations. We did our best to stay close to the language in the bill. But yes, to follow up on the chair's comment, we will evaluate each exception and we will be able to provide more information regarding the exceptions.
Yes.
Just for some of the people out there, this is a Senate bill, if I'm not wrong. Assembly bill, my apologies. Therefore, it's enacted in law. All we can do is interpret the gray areas of that law. We cannot change the law within the commission. Just so we're clear on that. Thank you. Oh, this is Ellie Klaus-Bruckner, Commissioner Klaus-Bruckner.
And I would just say, I think as we do at the next meeting, go through some of these and have some discussion, it should provide some additional clarity and guidance as we get used to this, living in this new reality with AB 130.
Since this will be part of the discussion, again, 1/10, I hope. It's the addition to a 9-point criteria. We can go in a little bit more details regarding the exception, because you will be discussing the state agency proposals, and you may agree or disagree with them. So we will be spending more time on the specific language.
Yeah, I think that the definition of home hardening, as some of the commenters mentioned, because this happened right after the LA fires, it seems like WUI was clearly targeted. But I think some of the flooding comments, like having a clear working definition, otherwise it just seems like a lot of gray area. Greenhouse gas emission reduction, all those things. So I think we all need to be able to agree on a working definition of what that means if we're to look at the proposing agencies' proposals and see if they comply with that requirement of this legislation.
And just to close that, provide a little bit more clarity. So for the emergency proposals and the emergency amendments, we go by the law. So the law is very specific. So it's not our interpretation. We follow the criteria that are outlined in the law.
And I appreciate that comment too, because I think different people have a different definition of what constitutes an emergency.
Well, bringing it back, I guess, to today's discussion that was agendized is just sort of the overall concept of having the AB 130 proposals discussed at the April meeting. And it sounded like there was widespread support for that. Do we have a motion to put that on the agenda for the next meeting?
Before we make a motion there, I just wanted to clarify. I know we're talking about, we already have a scheduled meeting in April. And so what we're actually looking at is just confirmation that I'm not sure exactly what we're looking to.
We have the meeting scheduled for April, but that's our regular meeting. So we can add this to the agenda in April
because this is a change in the normal procedure. We normally, as you all know better than I, since you've been serving, this has not come before the full commission until the very end of the process. So this would be moving up the ability of the commission to meet and discuss those proposals earlier in the process, and then they would come back again for final approval as they typically do. So I think that's what's under discussion right now.
Okay. So we're just to be clear, then we're just looking for a motion to add this discussion to the agenda for the next meeting.
That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Commissioner Haskin, I move that we add this discussion to the agenda for the next meeting.
Is there a second motion?
Commissioner Patel, second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll call the roll.
Commissioner Klaus-Buckner. Aye. Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
Commissioner Haskin.
Aye.
Commissioner Alegre,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Rambin,
Aye.
Commissioner Sasaki,
Aye.
Commissioner Santillan.
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous.
Motion passes. So thank you for that. Now, next on the agenda is item 5, which is the report by our executive director, Stoyan Bumbalov, for a brief overview of commission business. Stoyan.
My reports are short because my mouth gets sick otherwise, so I won't waste your time. So just a few items I wanted to cover. I mentioned the local ordinances when we were talking about the previous agenda item, and I want to provide a little bit more information about the local ordinances. So between August 21st of 2025, and this is when we received the first one, and January 13th of 2026, we received 224 separate submittals containing 331 ordinances, making local amendments to the 2025 edition of Title 24. The additional review requirements related to AB 130, I've already mentioned that, but have drastically increased the level of detail and time it takes for our technical staff to analyze each ordinance. At this point, 96 ordinances have been reviewed with details posted to the Building Standard Commission website. So if you want to follow what we are doing and how we are doing with the local amendments, all amendments that are filed or rejected or with a partial acceptance, they will be listed on the website. And you can tell that we're only January and we have already more than 300. In addition to that, we also received many for 2022 adoption, so we don't count those. They're in addition to the 300.
Stoyan, this is Commissioner Sasaki. In your review, I mean, in my reading of AB 130 for local amendments, I mean, one of the requirements is that local jurisdictions aren't adding something, a local amendment that is new or different from existing local amendments. Is that correct? Is that
correct?
one?
That's the first exception. The first option.
That's the first exception, and then what are the other major things that you guys are reviewing?
Kevin, can you address this in a little bit more detail, or if you can't, I have it open here so I can.
I just want a little more clarity on what's allowed and what's not allowed for local amendments.
The criteria are very specific. Besides the they are equivalent to the amendments in 2022. So we compare line by line. We're not that strict on some they do editorial corrections. They do relocation. Sometimes the model code sections are different, so the cities and counties, they want to align with that. So it's not word by word. Sometimes it needs to be different. But this is the first one for the equivalent change. Oh, okay, Karen. Sorry.
Thank you, Stoyan, and thank you, Commissioner. I'll go ahead and read directly from the statute, AB 130. So commencing October 1st, 2025 through June 1st, 2031, that's the 6-year moratorium. A city or county shall not make a change or modification that is applicable to residential units. I'm just kind of paraphrasing some parts, unless one of the following conditions is met. Like Stoyan mentioned, the modifications are substantially equivalent to changes that were already previously filed by the local jurisdiction and in effect September 30th, 2025. So essentially their 2022 ordinance. The commission deems the local amendments necessary as emergency standards to protect health and safety. The changes or modifications relate to home hardening. The changes or modifications are necessary to implement a local code amendment adopted to align with the general plan adopted on or before June 10th, 2025, that permits mixed fuel residential construction consistent with federal law, while also incentivizing all electric construction as part of an adopted greenhouse gas emissions reduction strategy. It's kind of a lengthy one, but that's one of the exceptions. And then the last one is changes or modifications related to administrative practices that result in reductions for time for local agency to issue permits, fee schedules, modernization of permitting platforms, reductions in cost of internal operation for a local agency, and establishment, alteration, removal of local programs related to enforcement of building code violations. So just some administrative procedures that the cities and counties administer. Those exceptions, will prevail during the 6-year moratorium, but the rest limits what the local jurisdictions can do unless they already had it on file affecting residential units. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Patel. I'd add one piece as well. Kent, as they're reviewing them, as you know, local ordinance don't become effective until they get filed with the Building Standards Commission. And so during the review, I'm noticing as the letters are coming back, if there is something in question, an amendment that's been made that they don't believe is in compliance with AB 130, they're sending a letter saying it's been partially approved. So at least the rest of the amendments go in, are effective. It's just that one piece that's under discussion. So, and I appreciate the fact that they're doing that.
We have, of course, the most of the time that is spent is for comparing, 2022 to 2025. We have a few that are, quite a few with home hardening, not that crazy, but just it needs more time to evaluate. And we have about 20 related to the mixed fuel. So these are the most difficult ones because the exception itself has 4 or 5 different questions, that 4 or 5 different items that we need to evaluate. And unfortunately, the cities and counties, they don't provide enough information because I guess they believe they didn't have to, but we're working with this too. We're picking up some speed. We're getting more stuff involved in that, trying to catch up because, as Raj said, many jurisdictions using the old experience, they were submitting at the last moment, trying to get this local amendments effective in January. So that's the reason we're issuing this partial acceptance letters just to allow them to start enforcing the codes, and we'll keep working. We'll get back to if they provide additional information. We will keep working on this, but it takes time. Full disclosure, we were surprised too. We underestimated this review a little bit. Many folks asked for the errata. When we publish the codes, we wish we were perfect, but unfortunately we're not. The publishers are not, so we always publish errata effective January. In this case, it's January 1st, 2026. These are the both pages, different color for all parts, and all errata packages are being published as we speak. We have parts 3, 4, and 5 already shipped. This is what the last information from the publisher. ICC expects their errata to ship in a few days. I hope by the end of the week. And the State Fire Marshal Part 7. This is the WUI code. In October, you approved the emergency supplement, so the emergency supplement should also ship next week. So the publishers are doing a good job. As it was already addressed, we started the 2025 intervening code adoption cycle. So we had the pre-cycle workshops, and we're done with the pre-cycle workshops. We are in the process of reconvening our code advisory committees. And this time, it's important to note that this year we have 2 ad hoc committees because of the quantity of proposals. We don't need to have our code advisory committee. So we combined the BFO and SDLF in one ad hoc committee, and Green and PIMI will be the other ad hoc committee. We try to have fair representation from both code advisory committees. The first CAC meeting is for health facilities, scheduled for January 28th. All materials for the meeting are already posted on the Building Standard Commission website. The other 3 CAC meeting dates are posted also on the website. We have meetings in February and the first week of March. The 45 and 15-day public comment periods are in early spring 2026. So we'll be done with those. The proposals will be available for the meeting in April. The plan is to have the Building Standard Commission adoption meetings in July and August if we need to have a second meeting. So it will be a busy summer. We wish we could have done it later, but because of the time frame, we have to do it in July and August. The code supplement blue pages will be published in January 2026 as the standard procedure and effective July 1st, 2027. Sorry, will be published January 1st, 2027 and effective July 1st, 2027. This is the information I wanted to share with you regarding the process, and we have one news related to personnel. Our office manager, Cynthia, she is retiring. Currently, she is taking well-deserved vacation time. We had interviews, we had great candidates, and our choice was to promote Barbara Trusley for the new office manager. You know, Barbara, she was helping the commission for a long time. So now Laura is the new Barbara, and Barbara will be overseeing the office business. I usually, when I'm at work, I have a lot of questions, so she's my go-to person for anything that's related to the office. I guess she's already tired of me. A little bit about Barbara. You know her. She joined the commission in 2017, October 2017, as an office technician, and then November 2019, she was promoted to SSA, Staff Services Analysis. 2022, she was promoted to HPA, Associate Government Program Analyst, and now she was promoted to Office Manager, Supervisor, and 1 is the title. You can tell she's an overachiever, so 4 promotion in a row. It's great. We're happy to work with her in her new capacity.
Thank you for that update, Stoyan. Yes, Commissioner Klausberg.
Just one comment. I thought the staff was bursting at the seam, and I really, really appreciate what you guys are doing with the amendments so that the rest of us wouldn't have to take it on. But it's a monumental task, and I don't know how you guys are going through that. It used to be that you would just file it and not look at it that closely. So this is a really, really difficult job you guys have taken on. So I really appreciate that.
I have to admit that some of these local ordinances are very interesting. So it's funny to read.
Commissioner Haskin, I just have a question. On a normal year prior to AB 130, about how many submittals would you get from cities and counties in a given year?
For I will refer to Kevin. As far as I know, for 2022, we had more than 500, but Kevin will provide more reliable information.
Yeah, thank you, Stoyan. You're correct. We got actually was closer to 600 for the entire 2022 code effectiveness. Most of those we get around this time of year. You can imagine the codes get published in July, and in those last 6 months that they're available before becoming effective, the local jurisdictions file. We're kind of in that ordinance season now, as we call it, and getting, dozens, each week. So I think it's probably comparable, but like Stoyan said earlier, I think the challenge AB 130 created was our review is much more extensive. Before we were required to check for, make sure the ordinance has expressly marked changes to Title 24, findings of local climate, geology, and topography, and then it was ratified by the city or county. Now, that list of exceptions is quite lengthy. So it's, we've got our work cut out for us, but we're ready to rise to the challenge. So,
Kevin, Commissioner Ramirez, I have a question now. Once the 6-year moratorium ends, are you expecting a tsunami of work to come our way?
That's a good question. And I think that goes back to the state agency proposals that are limited, on what they can do. It's possible. It's something that was, I think, discussed before the bill chaptered that the departments that have authority for residential building standards might continue to consider things, but hold them until the moratorium lifts. So yeah, it's a possibility that 2030 triennial cycle might be quite robust. But we only have a few agencies that have authority for residential, like HCD, State Fire Marshal for Fire and Life Safety, the Energy Commission for residential energy efficiency. So we can definitely work with them and anticipate any of that. But for the local amendments, assuming the moratorium lifts as the statute's currently written, I think things will just, it'll go back to normal status quo. So hopefully that helps.
Are there any comments from the public on this agenda item?
We'll give it a minute for people to raise their hands. Since you just asked for phone comments, Zoom comments, if anybody would like to speak, please raise your hand at this time. Seeing no raised hands.
Thank you. Any additional comments or questions on agenda item 5 from any members of the commission? Anyone in the room?
Yes, I did, Mr. Chair. I did have one comment related to the comments we received from the public, as well as what Commissioner Raman sort of her concern, which is the home hardening. I know our attorneys have looked at it, and I don't know if we have the ability to make a definition for home hardening. I don't believe we do, but I do remember the last meeting, the state fire marshal came up with a definition for home hardening that related to defensible space and structure ignition. That's really the only definition that we have that's codified. So at this point, I know a lot of comments are going to come forward between now and April regarding, can we expand the definition of home hardening to include seismic resiliency and climate change and other things? I don't know if we can or we can't. I'm assuming we've already gone through the attorneys, so we cannot. Is there a way maybe between now and April, or at the April meeting, our attorneys can maybe explain what they've looked at and what we can do?
Our initial approach was that, following the intent of the bill and the communication that we had with the state fire marshal and the approach that is used in the WE code, you have the home hardening versus the defensible space. So less defensible space, more home hardening. So the home hardening was considered that the interior envelope of the building. The state fire marshal proposed a little bit more vague definition, but again, based on the conversation we had with them, we go with that, just the interior envelope of the building. There was a home hardening for both local ordinances and the state agency proposals. The legislature changed the state fire marshal exception, so now it's all part 7, the WE code. But the home hardening for the local ordinances didn't change. So there is some connection, and I don't. Again, I said we took it. We took a conservative approach because we followed the discussions for AB 306, and then some language was added at the last moment to AB 130, but the intent was fire and life safety and housing crisis and the price of the houses, and some for the intervening cycle. It was a little bit different purpose, just to allow a business to keep up with the changes. Again, we can make interpretations, but we can't go crazy in interpretations. At the same time, we want to stay close to what the bill says.
Yeah, thanks. No, I agree with that. I agree that from AB 306 to when it came to AB 130, it moved, home hardening now is sort of only on the local side. When it talks about being able to make those amendments, it's not on the state agency side anymore. It's only restricted to the state fire marshal. So the ability to make those changes is sort of flipped now. So I understand the difficulty, and I agree. I think it's going to be very difficult for us to make a broad definition of home hardening when it's not consistent with the spirit of what AB 130 was intended to. So.
Commissioner Ramirez, I have just a follow-up comment on that. One of your guidance documents, you do list at least a dozen times where you mention the commission interprets. And I understand that to mean from today's discussion that it's a very narrow interpretation within existing rules and laws and so forth. So there really isn't a lot of leeway to make interpretations.
I guess learning this the hard way. Kevin and I were talking this morning when we were coming to the meeting, and I think we didn't use the right term for this because our intent wasn't to make wild interpretations. Our intent was to stay close to the language in the bill, and it appears that members of the public and stakeholders they took it differently. In their opinion, we can make interpretations, and you know it's a state law. We can't go crazy in interpretations. Again, we did our best to stay close to the language in the bill. So this term, the Building Standards Commission interpreting this, I think it shouldn't be used, but we made a mistake and we used it. You can see, you can compare the language. It's very, very close.
Any additional comments on this, on the update from the executive director? Seeing none, we'll turn to the final agenda item, which is future agenda items. Do any of the commissioners have any items they wish to have placed on future agendas? We already, of course, had a vote on placing the local or the state measures, I'm sorry, on the next agenda or the agenda for the next meeting, but are there any additional items? Yes, Commissioner Klaus-Bruckner.
Quick question. Is it, and it might not be legal, is it a possibility to have like a half an hour discussion in the next meeting on questions all of us may have on the gray areas with the staff as well as the attorney for the commission assigned to the commission so that we can get some clarification before we begin the process in April?
Viana, are you attending? I don't want to put you on the spot, but okay. Thank you.
I'm here. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is Viana Barbu, counsel for the commission. So any legal discussion that is made openly in public generally waives attorney-client privilege. So while we might be able to have some very generic discussions and kind of point to generic law that might be applicable, it's not well advised to actually discuss legal advice in public because it waives the commission's attorney-client privilege. So I think a generic discussion of that sort could be had, but it might not be as informative or as helpful or as determinative and final as the commissioners might like, but it's something to consider. Definitely this general discussion amongst the commissioners is okay.
Yes, Commissioner Patel.
Thank you, Commissioner Patel. I had one question, Viana. If we wanted to ask your legal opinion about some of these elements in AB 130, does that warrant a closed session?
Yes. So if we wanted to obtain a legal opinion, that would have to be done in a closed session, and we would need some time to research the law and applicability and sort of draft up a legal opinion. But that may be had in closed session.
Thank you.
Follow-up question. Would the commissioners be able to, like, so that we're not taking you by surprise, if we were gonna have a closed session, could we send you our questions in advance for the closed session? Or is that, again, I'm an engineer, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm asking you these questions.
Yeah, I'll work with staff to find a way to do this appropriately. The requirements under Bagley Clean for closed session, especially as relates to legal advice, generally refer to a pending litigation or the threat of impending litigation. So we just have to make sure that the process and the law is followed in a way as to not give away attorney-client privilege, but also get you the information you like and the guidance that is needed. So let me work with staff offline and find the best way to convey the methodology to kind of address this issue. And maybe it is that the commissioners submit questions, legal questions, and we find generic advice that we can discuss in public. And then there might be some items that, depending on potential for litigation, we can have in a closed session.
Okay, I think, I don't even know that we need a motion on this necessarily, but we will take that back and I understand we hear you, the commission members, desire to have some increased guidance on this. So we will figure out the most appropriate way to do that in conformity with all state laws on open meetings. Does that sound okay? Are there any other?
Yes, this is Commissioner Haskin on another item and kind of readdressing. I know we've already moved to add the agenda item to discuss if AB 130 and some of the impacts to the commission itself. That's added to the next meeting. But I would like to entertain the movement to also have added to the agenda a discussion item of just process of a commission process and see if we can't have that discussion to clarify whether we continue to have an additional meeting that we haven't had in the past. So I move that'd be my motion if that's appropriate. I move that we add that to the agenda to discuss commission process.
I think that'd be fine. Any additional comments on that? Do we have a motion? Do we have a second to add that to the agenda?
Commissioner Klaus-Berkner, a second to try and put a permanent fix in, and not just for the interim cycle in the process where we can comment back during the 45-day period.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the public on this?
If any members on Zoom would like to comment on this, please raise your hand at this time. Seeing no hands raised.
Okay. Any additional comments from the commission before we go to roll call? Seeing none, we call the roll.
Commissioner Patel, Commissioner Sasaki,
Aye.
Commissioner Santillan,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Rambin,
Aye.
Commissioner Haskin,
Aye.
Commissioner Alegre,
Aye.
and Commissioner Klaus-Berkner.
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous.
Thank you so much. So we will go ahead and add that. Vote was unanimous. We'll go ahead and add that to the agenda for the next commission meeting. Are there any additional agenda items people would like to discuss adding to the April agenda? All right. Seeing none, I believe that is the final item on today's meeting agenda. I would at this point entertain a motion to adjourn.
I can make that motion. I had one question for staff real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Chair, have we received anything back regarding the single stair analysis from the State Fire
No,
Marshal's office?
We reviewed it once a month or so ago, but we haven't seen any final.
Okay,
We don't.
thank you. So with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Klaus Brickner, second.
We have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Klaus Buckner,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Rambin,
Aye.
Commissioner Sasaki,
Aye.
Commissioner Santillan,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Alegre,
Aye.
Commissioner Haskin.
Aye.
Thank you.
Right, it is 11:28 a.m. and this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all for your participation and thank you to the members of the public for your participation and interest as well.